Alright, so today on Game of the Day, we are on Scrapper. I don't think I've ever shown you a Scrapper video. This is a Demolisher Scrapper. Basically, the idea is you're really good on point and on, so you don't have much chase potential, and you don't necessarily have the greatest impact in team fights either, but anything on a node where people are kind of stationary, you can do a lot. You're very tanky. You've also got very, very good damage that you can even burst out to an extent. The idea is there's like 3 big skills you can kind of just drop on a node that pulse away. And as they tick, as you do your damage, you can kind of just snap kills down. So it's a really nice side noder as far as I'm concerned, with obviously the function gyro and stuff. I was actually inspired to play this because Scrapper builds were able to stall me on Weaver. And even do a ton of damage, so I wanted to play around. Just so, for the real novices out here, really the skill 2 is our big hit, which we can refresh quite regularly. The skill 5 is a lot of damage over time in an area, and, you know, well, we'll see. I'm not going to go over the whole build. But anyway, so yeah, a couple of bonus clips, because I didn't really have a great game to show you. We will watch a full one, but it was a bit easy. But anyway, so yeah, here's a bonus clip just showing an example of a 1v1. And that's kind of the thing, I think, about builds like this. So you notice I open this. We're trying to force this Mirage off the node. Mirage can be really deadly, by the way. Condi pressure is really hard to deal with unless you sub off one of the elixirs. Anyway, so I drop the skill 5 down. And then we notice that he's immediate on staff and ambushing. So we use the 2, which would be tons of damage if he's on the node. But also this reflects his ambush back at him. And we see that he's still there. We precast the acid bomb now on the node as well. So these are like 2 of our big AoEs. And he's kited away and he's stayed away, which is the smart play for now, I guess, for him. Now he's ambushed in, and we make sure we dodge the F2, Cry of Frustration. That's what these evades are, during his Axe 2. And so we've managed to avoid a good amount of the burst. Now the Mirage makes a mistake and he comes back in, and I can use my 2 again. And you'll notice, like, we're getting big numbers here. He just stealthed. Oh, no, that was a clone. We still get hit. But so, yeah, we can, now that we've drank our elixirs, we've got our 25 might, we can just auto a bit. And you see, this guy's extremely low. We can use the leap and sort of clean him up. So you'll notice that by the time this 1v1's over as well, I've pretty much capped it, and he's been forced away. So it's a really strong build, genuinely. Here's another example. We're in this game losing. It's Forest again, but it's actually a different game. Quite hard. I've been pressuring this Spellbreaker up the roads. And so we both use our blocks together, which isn't too good. I pull up slightly towards the keep. I guess I try and kite him down. He moves up towards the keep here, right? So I roam in, and I notice my friend just died. So I can't really do much here, but the enemies are sort of low. And if we're lucky, we can maybe do something good. So I dodge away from the warriors. I think it was a Bull's Rush. Come up onto the jumping puzzle. I get my lightning field down in case they try and kite up to me. This is a Rev, and I know he's going to pour. I try and walk to the edge a little bit to stop it, but I'm too late. We get the acid bomb down instead, I guess, actually. Maybe I wasn't thinking about that at all. Kite back. The warrior decides to come in. And as they come in now in this 1v2, you notice we're actually sustaining reasonably well against power pressure. We get a really nice skill 2 here. This is a good demonstration of the damage. They're both getting hit very hard. The Rev just went into his glint there, so we can't pressure him for a second. But now that his glint's over, I use the skill 3. We get it again. And we're extremely close here. This guy's almost dead to actually winning a 1v2. What I can do is gyro stomp that, so I actually have a gyro on that at the moment. Oh, or did I not? I'm cleaving over it. If I pressed F, I would have gyro stomped that. Oh my god, seeing this in the post commentary, I thought that I did, and they'd cleaved it out or something, because your gyros can quite often be mitigated here. That's crazy, though. So anyway, now my ally comes into plus, and we do get the rally anyway, so we get to continue fighting. But yeah, so that's a really, really nice little moment, I think, there. Shows you, again, some of the strength offensively of the build. Another Mirage 1v1 here, so I'm picking up close at the start, and they've had their Mirage push. Now, the thing about this situation here, this Mirage beat me in a 1v1 later in the game, so I'm kind of cherry-picking this one. He's, to get here this fast, bursts a lot of mobility, so if he commits this fight, he has to commit to this fight. He stays on staff, but what's going through his mind right now is the 1v1's not worth much for him unless he can force that to be neutral. So I know that it's very likely in the next few seconds before this full caps, he's going to get on it. So we can be ready with it here. I've got my elixir bomb So it is called Elixir. No, it's not Elixir Bomb, is it? It's just Mega Elixir, I think it's called. Anyway, so I've got that to cleanse. As you can see, we've been condied very hard by stuff. Now he moves in, and as he moves in, I precast tossing Elixir X. That's likely just before he's gonna dodge to ambush or use his Axe 3. So it's really nice time to get that early, and yes, we can mini-mower people. And I go pretty ham with the pressure, to be honest. I don't even bother with healing for a while. Then with the overcharge of the heal turret, we use the 3, we resustain, and we win it very, very, very comfortably. So, yeah, that's a nice situation. I want to show you a Weaver fight as well, if I can find the clip. Here I'm making a bit of a mistake. This is a different game where essentially this Rev is kiting out and I'm trying to give him a bit of support. So I give him the Mega Elixir. And because I did that, I get decapped. Really what I should have done is just stood on the node with the Weaver instantly. So I got us decapped there. You know, I didn't even realize that he wasn't being counter pressure. So a bit of a mistake there at the start of this clip. But yeah, so I move forward. It's a 1v1. The Weaver is going to leave to try and harass this on the roads, which is what I was scared of, you know, that extra bit of pressure, which is why I was so aggressively with him and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so he's going to miss that. My Rev dodges towards him, which is terrible, but he's going to miss that. And now he's going to push this 1v1. So, I played a ton of this Weaver build recently, so I very, very clearly know this perspective. And I really think that the Scrapper matchup is really favored for the Scrapper here. I'm very new to this build. This is like the first time I played it for a while. Again, with the early mini-mower. This might seem like I'm cherry-picking 1v1s where I get mini-mowers, which aren't actually that reliable. But anyway, so we pressure him. He could have been evading throughout that. But, you know, this is the evade spam build, right? And masses of resustain. But it has basically no damage. So I don't have to be scared of him in any way. But as you watch this plays through, he's dead. We just killed him. Like, our sudden burst power pressure potential is very high. And he does not have the damage to kill this build. Unless he's bang on point with all of his stuff, we can very comfortably resustain through it. So, yeah, this really made me smile because one of the reasons I was playing Scrapper was I kind of wanted an easy matchup here. And you see how quick. And what would have happened is that Weaver was like, oh, what the hell? I didn't realize that Scrappers can do that. And yeah, and then we can just sort of continue cleaving our way down. So, you know, you can respect the build a little bit. Maybe I have one more clip for you. Actually, no, let's not do another bonus clip. I think we've seen enough. So let's get into the actual game. It's a temple game. We haven't had many temples on Game of the Day for a long time, have we? I mean, this was, when I first started doing the series, a notorious map for the commentary getting really long, just because when double buff comes up, to pause and explain all the potential rotations people can do can take ages. Anyway, so at the gate, I dropped the lightning field, I blasted with the turret and my Elixir Gun 4. This is a fun game because there's a couple of weird plays, which you guys will see. I'm going to become an invisible tornado here, and you'll notice I do not have stealth on this build. So, anyway, so I'm picking up close. And there's some value me at mid, but just not too much. I feel like the games where I go mid on this build are not actually that great. So anyway, so right now I've recast this lightning field because what I want to do is I want to give myself swiftness to keep moving in a minute. So I'm going to blast in this and leave. But I could do it by drinking the elixirs, but I really want the boon uptime from those. So right as I place the heal turret to blast and move on, this druid comes in. So this druid's moved in an extremely weird way. Then the reason for that is that this is the opening of the game. So what he wants to do is get on the cap and deny me full capping it, right? But he went like the slow way, which is like the sneaky play. But then instead of, and if he just waited there, I wouldn't have seen it and he could have decapped me. But he came through as well. So I like get punished for wasting my heal at the start here because he did such a strange thing. If he'd gone direct, because now he's in a horrible 1v1 basically, right? Where he's got I'm great on point and he's only got a tiny bit of leeway before I full cap it. Mind you, I move off there. Usually you can cancel cast that by just dropping the kit. So anyway, we go in for a druid 1v1. So I splash out a little bit. I'm not 100% on a lot of these skills, right? And I'm still getting used to, well, no, I know what the skills are and so on, but I don't know how long the poison lingers. I don't know whether dipping into the poison in a protracted 1v1, which is what this is the right move to make, right? So I'm doing some early poison here, and I'll do some later as well when I see that he heals, and it's just kind of a thing, maybe splash out the start. Here he's gone troll, I'm going instantly though. Anyway, so yeah, we start doing the damage. As a 1v1 spec and a side noder, a lot of this game is going to be, there's not going to be much to talk about in terms of rotations and stuff. It's mostly just going to be how we're fighting. So here I mower him, but he was in Signet of Stone. He popped Signet of Stone right before I did it. He stayed on node. The idea of a mower there's a cancel cast of the acid bomb, by the way. The idea of a mower is to get him to flee with the mower 5 and maybe even the mower 2, and then we could have capped a bit more. Anyway, here he's used his Chol Unguent, and you actually saw I applied poison with it, but he cleanses instantly because he gets muddy terrain and stuff at the same time, so a little bit lame. I don't think that there's actually enough pressure really for us to do much here. And you'll notice what I've not done is drink my regular Elixir X. So what I could do that, gamble on a rampage and do more damage. However, what actually is going on in my mind right now is mid. I'm not really watching this or invested in this too heavily right now. I'm looking at mid because if my team dies in mids, I need to be ready for a snowball and to be +1. And what I'm doing is I'm holding Rampage or Tornado for when a +1 comes in against me. There, I'd left my turret up a little bit awkwardly for a while. So that's what this is. This is an escape tool as far as I'm concerned, not oh, I need to win this 1v1 tool. So I'll just keep this neutral until either I get a plus or they get a plus. And something weird is happening in mid here. I got him pretty low here, by the way. Something weird is going on in mid in that my team keeps wiping and their team keeps wiping. There's like no hard reset for either team. They're just trickling in. So this is going to go on for quite a bit. The Druid's doing fine. I think I should be here, though. I think me leaving is a terrible idea. I've blown... You'll notice that the Druid has to use his heal on cooldown, and he's having to actively dodge, and he's used Signet of Stone and all these things. That's what's actually important in this fight. Big macro level, big picture. Particularly if I was in comms or in a team or whatever, I'm doing my job as a 1v1er right now because he's vulnerable to a plus. That's kind of what I'm getting at. I am holding something in reserve. He, as far as I can tell, is basically blowing everything he can, and that means he's very, very vulnerable while I'm not necessarily. And so it doesn't look like anything's really happening, but I think there are things to talk about. So yeah, I just resustain here, and now I see I get my plus. It's my Guardian. This is a really weird game that I wanted to spotlight as well, because it's like a 1v1 server. You'll notice that there's a stalled 1v1 going on fire as well. So it's really kind of a roamer's game here. Anyway, so look, the plus goes through. We get the kill very quickly. He even banishes it off, which is lovely. Now, what that ranger is going to do is self-res with the pet, so I have to deal with that, which is a bit annoying. I trigger the function gyro on him, though, and you see his hands up right now? That means he's just used his animation. And so, because he cast it over here and not on my gyro, I know I'm perfectly fine. I can wander off. So, now I get to look at the rest of the map. We lost mid, but, okay, so now this was really weird. I got a ping on me, and the guy turned around. So I was like, oh, is somebody coming? Did I miss something? This is me trusting my allies. Then I looked in chat, and I saw people were like... I don't know, they were wiping a mid and they didn't realize why people were regrouping or something. So I was confused as to why they told me this. I think the other guy was confused that I'd left a ranger down and he didn't think about my function gyro. So just a bit of clunky stuff there. So yeah, they have a scrapper on their team as well, just by the way. And I don't know how this goes. I don't know if that's an eternal 1v1. I don't know what that matchup's like. I was in the pre-game lobby of this match, fighting against him a bit on roads, though. His build's slightly different. He's on Elixir S. So here he rampages. What I'm actually doing is defending close right now. I know it's on the roads, but I'm defending close. And I'm better on roads. So Scrapper, he's a Scrapper, okay? Ignore the fact that I'm a Scrapper right now. He's so much worse on roads because I can just walk away from most of his stuff, like the Hammer 2 and things you can just walk away from. So if I'm going to fight him, I'll fight him here. I'm obviously a bit concerned that someone might decap, so we are slowly walking towards this. But this is free safety. Like, there's almost no chance he'll kill me at this point. But he does get me pretty low, to be honest. Okay, so then I get my elixirs up and I'm going to start shooting, fighting back. And I've got my camera wrong here. So what I should really be doing is holding my camera in the other direction. But as I walk down, I did this wrong. And so that's just me not being enough of a side point player. And because I had the camera in the wrong place, a ranger has started shooting me. So I've been plus. Now all I have to do is just kite and survive. So we use our elite, but I've gone to the wrong place. I was a second away from my heal before doing this. I get tornadoed, not rampage. it's all pretty trash, to be honest. And so I end up going down and get function gyro stomped out. I'm happy to just die really quickly. Luckily, my returning guardian does very well here. Our team actually has all the nodes. The enemy just got stillness, but has 0 caps. So what they just did was deny us stillness, essentially. But right now what I'm thinking is the enemy that just caps stillness is likely to plus one of these nodes. Like, look at this. This is what I meant by a 1v1 server. They're just all like little engagements all the time. And compositionally, I wouldn't have actually expected that. There's only 2 formal side noders, me and the Soul Beast. And he could have been like Sikkim or something. I hadn't necessarily checked. So anyway, I go back to close to even that back up into a 2v2. But my friend, who valiantly got on the node, is already dead. So I'm going the sneaky route. The idea being that the enemy ranger that just plussed him will leave, and I can get on the node at the last moment. I may even be able to sneak it, because they're rotting my ally right now, so I can sneakily function gyro it and occupy the node at the same time. It could be really good. So that's the plan I'm going for here, but no, he's just been function gyroed out. I need to make sure that the ranger's not there, so you see that with my camera. And now we have the Scrapper 1v1. So the key to beating Scrapper is making sure you position yourself outside of their stuff, but still on the node. And this is a beautiful example here. He's dropped his Hammer 5, and I've made sure I'm still contesting, but I'm not in it. And the Hammer 2 as well is something you really want to be able to kite away from. That's super nice. Acid bombs are really important to stand out of too. There I was really crappy with my heal turret, by the way. Like, really crappy. I always cringe when I see people who don't break their heal turrets, like, all game long and stuff. So I hate it when I see, even for a couple of seconds, I'm a little bit late. Or I survived the 1v1, and it didn't actually look like I was doing too good in that one, to be honest. But I survived it long enough to get my plus, and we recap the node. We don't actually know if he's coming back in. He is, and he's going to try and hold that. It's a very big mistake from this opponent here. Of course, he has more escape and kite potential running Elixir S. Because he's on Elixir S, let me just be clear, he's ultra vulnerable to conditions. But there's no conditions against him, amazingly, on this game. You know what? This was probably a fun game of the day that I'm showing you here, because there's no freaking mirages all over the place. Anyway, so, yeah, we kill him. I rampage for that kill, because I want it done quick, frankly. And so this also recharges really fast. So my whole perspective and philosophy I mentioned earlier might be wrong. So this build can pick up the trait that means whenever you evade, you chunk the cooldown down. So, yeah, maybe I could just keep spamming that. I don't know. Anyway, so this guy's down. We function gyro, and then we interrupt over. So the opposing ranger is in stealth, and this will have interrupted him most likely. But also we want to do pressure, so we walk over it. Instead of rezzing here, I use the 2, which is the big damage. Remember the 1v2 at Keep earlier on Forest. And now our gyro has rezzed our friend. There's a Scourge against us, so there's a lot of Condi represented there, and I need to be quite scared. I think I'm going to make a big mistake here. So we acid bomb towards the node, and we drop our Mega Elixir. We blow up the turret with the F1 combo field. The Scrapper's back. Okay, so because the opposing Scrapper got on this point, and he's a 1v1er, most of the time I would force this, and I would fight for the decap. But here I don't think it's a good idea, and I decide to abandon that play. Especially since we're at far, not close, and especially because there's enemies nearby. Overall, we're outnumbered on this half of the map right now. It's just me and this guy, and there's 3 of them. So, you know, we don't need that node. If it was neutral, I might have fought for it a bit, kited around. But yeah. So anyway, my ally was low there. I tried to mower this to get it away. I can't remember. Does this go through stab? I actually can't remember. Anyway, we're just trying to give him pills from the Sikkim Soul Beast. And now I realize that I'm pretty outnumbered and in a dangerous place. So our only chance is to like fake jump them off or something, which is pretty easy here. So I Mega Elixir, we take the blocks, and I walk along this, hoping that he'll go down, but he's not hot enough on me. So instead I go down, And then we do it again here. Do you see how I walk in right so that our character is even starting to fall, essentially? And then we just move to the left again. That, by the way, toggling, if you haven't used a skill for like 2 seconds, if you toggle in and out of combat mode, you can do that really, really well. Very simply. So anyway, now that he's been baited down the pit and I haven't, I can just stay here. I tried to use a 3 with a water field there. It didn't work, and I put myself down. So if he'd stayed, that would have been awful. This is all pretty good because obviously 8:30 is coming up, and we want to fight over tranquility here. My team's already scored a kill. And so now what I'm realizing is it's a bit of a Zerg. So he was an Elixir S, and now obviously he's tornadoed or whatnot. I'm just going to move. One thing I guess you don't see much of in this game is me utilizing the Elixir gun autos, which are actually, once you've got all your stuff up, once you've got your quickness and whatnot going, you can crit a light armor person for about 1,000 damage, and you go pew, 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 pew. It feels a bit like Hollow, to be honest, except nowhere near as OP. And also the weakness on it's really nice. Like quite often on the opening mid, if you have been put there instead of on close point or something, you can have that elixir gun ready, and if somebody pushes the line, you can just weaken them. It's very, very, very strong. Like a bursty DPS that you're against, you can really work wonders with it if you land the weakness at the right time. Anyway, so this was really weird. I'm kiting out because most of our team's down there, and you'll notice that we own mid. This low Scourge is leaving me. So why is he low, I'm thinking at the time? Did he just beat my allies? But he's not even decapping. Like, it's crazy. So here I'm trying to keep him in combat. He had Aegis, presumably from flipping Burning. So now I need to hit him really quickly. We managed to do it there with the 2. Take a couple of autos. And now, okay, well, here you go, Elixir Gun. So we take the Elixir Gun auto attacks and finish him off. And now, because this isn't decapped, I'm like, oh, I can fight for that. I go up again, and even this DH, what was going on here? This DH is low. I hold him in combat. I go up towards the node. And now a third player is finally decapping. So, like, a lot of their team is here, and we got, frankly, very lucky the way they kind of trickled down like so. Like, everyone's just been slowly walking down low on health, just being eaten. I'm like a shark in the water here, basically, along with my team further back there. So, we've definitely won the cap behind us right now. So I'm waiting for the whole map to flip in our favor now. And this is beautiful because there's at least 3 of the enemy team on respawn right now. So even though we've overzerged this, essentially, what I'm watching for is when it all flips in our favor, it doesn't matter how many of them are standing there and defending that. I can go on it, sustain, and then all my friends are going to zerg up here as well. And we'll wipe the remaining enemy team members who aren't on respawn. Is going to be amazing, all right? So that's what I'm thinking right now. So I decide to come out guns blazing with Rampage. My ally goes down, and I function gyro plus regular res it very, very quickly. And here comes the cavalry. Beautifully over here, I'm only looking at on post-commentary. Out the one enemy that had liberty to roam somewhere else got countered by our core guard. That's a really beautiful thing from our core guard there. And so this is pretty good. The game in general has been equal, and now we're going to start pulling ahead as long as we can sustain this. The Scourge leaves, so I go Elixir Gun to pressure him. Hold on the node. Now, he's elited on the node, so I counter the elite with a Mega Elixir, but it's still pretty dangerous, to be honest, so you do have to be careful. The Scourge is pretty outnumbered, so... Here, I think I was trying to pick up the heal turret because I wanted it back for more cleanse later, but I didn't in the end. Then I guess I just left it up, so I go F1 and explode it there, so I get some value of having left it up. We push towards far to help our friend here. I don't think I have a function gyro here, but they do. So I go for a stab res and whatnot, but it's way too much pressure. Can't deal with it. Now I know I'm endangered because I'm outnumbered. So we take some mobility from the acid bomb. We look like we're going to go towards far, and then we turn around and dip under the bridge because there's line of sight there. Drop our heal turret. Blast. Take the water leaps. Okay, and now I know that I have the druid behind me, the guy from the 1v1 at the start, and he was on longbow, right? So, what I do is, as I'm running away... Okay, well, here, I guess the point-blank shot was the tip-off. I use the 2 So this skill 2 is a reflect, which is pretty nice. By the way, one thing I'm not very good at is this is a stun break, the elixir gun thing here. And I could have stun break dodge rolled there, and I wouldn't have even lost any health right now. So that's one fun thing about Scrapper. If I play a lot of this build, I would definitely be focusing on. Anyway, what's kind of hilarious is this guy, he went point blank shot skill 2, and now as I reflect, he stealth shots for some reason. I don't know why he's even considering doing that right now. He must just be spamming buttons. But because of that, I'm actually and because I fall down as well, the damage that would have revealed me doesn't. Now, I don't even realize that's happened in the time, and I'm trying to get my elite up for the sustain. I want to, like, rampage run away. So now I realize I'm a stealthed tornado in the pit. And it's kind of hilarious, because if this guy comes down, I almost don't want him to, because the tornado passive will reveal me and stuff. So this was just, I was like, this is bizarre. So yeah, then obviously they don't follow me. It would have been alright to kill them down there, actually. I could have done a lot of damage. We got about a 60-point lead all told from that triple cap we got there with Tranquility, which is enough of a pad now that we're probably going to win the game. But we do have to be careful. So coming into mid where I have an ally, I don't really support him well enough, I don't think, at this point. So here it's a rally race, and I've got a gyro stomping this. No, do I? Oh, yeah, no. Okay, so this gets searched and rescued and moved to the side. And it's going to get rezzed really quickly. I click this body and gyro revive my ally, and the idea I have is if I can cleave this to deny the search and rescue while this guy gets up, and as soon as he's up, he can fear and do stuff. And that's the idea. I want to sustain this until he reses, because I can do two things at once. This, by the way, is an excellent example of the versatility of Scrapper in a 2v2. You know, the amount of options you've got just because of that gyro and whatnot. Anyway, so, why am I stomping? Okay, never mind. The whole idea was ridiculous. I can't believe I was trying to stomp that out. I guess I went for a stomp play. Unnecessary. I should have cleaved. They stealthed the body anyway, and he revealed and whatever. But we get the res. We counter burst anyway as soon as my Reaper's up. Look, we've already done a lot of damage. Keep the pressure on this guy, on the Scourge. Back to the autos with the Elixir gun. We get Condi bombed. We just try and cleanse. You'll notice with our health, our resustain, and just a little bit of barrier to pad us out, even quite a lot of Condi doesn't feel too bad. Once again, I have my heal turret up in a terrible place. Trying to put interrupts over that. Here I blast it with the water fields. The enemy Scrapper's in, who we've sort of danced around a lot this game, but neither of us is... Oh, no, I've seen him die a few times. But it's kind of interesting how there's been a lot of situations where we could have been in 1v1 and we weren't. So then I was thinking of kiting out, and the game's pretty much won, right? All we need to do... We don't even need to secure that stillness, but that's what was on my mind, because it's the next stillness is up. And I was going to rotate away. There were things to do. But as I'm leaving, I realise that this guy's in a bad matchup and low on health as well. He's just gone in Shroud, but I realized he was low, so I decided to come back. And I can hold this node, as we saw at the start of the game, forever now if I want. Well, there's a Scrapper as well. Anyway, it was a good thing to stay with that fight. And there you go. That's a Temple game on Scrapper. It's a fun build. I definitely recommend you guys check it out. And so I was on Alchemy Tools, Demo Amulet. You can see my utilities, figure the rest out. It's pretty easy. Oh, and Sanctuary Runes. So Sanctuary makes your barrier... You get a lot of barrier, and Scrapper is whenever you get barrier, it's stronger. So Scrapper actually gets synergy out of Sanctuary Runes. And that was one of the things I was actually kind of excited about. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you for more Game of the Day. Probably the Mesmer build eventually very soon.